The message arrived in the dead of night, a signal not meant for human ears. When Captain Elias Vance decoded the alien transmission, he expected first contact. What he got was a warning. Because the thing hunting them across the stars, it wasn't alien. It was ours, and it remembered where home was. This opener throws the reader into immediate mystery. Whose message? What warning? And most crucially, why is a human-made horror stalking them through space? The chilling implication that Earth might be the real threat hooks curiosity while promising high stakes. The urgent, cryptic tone forces readers to keep going for answers. Please wait. Before we start, tap that iCard button in the top right corner and smash that subscribe button. Right now, hit the notification bell so you're first in line when new stories land. All right, let's dive into the story. Chapter 1. The bridge of the Odyssey hummed with the quiet efficiency of a ship running on night watch protocols. Captain Elias Vance rubbed his tired eyes, the glow of the main screen casting sharp shadows across his angular face. His coffee, bitter and long gone cold, sat forgotten in its magnetic cup holder. The stars outside the viewport streaked by in hypnotic ribbons of light as the ship maintained its steady FTL course toward Proxima Centauri. Another thrilling night of deep space monotony. Lieutenant Marcus Cole quipped from the navigation console, spinning lazily in his chair. His boots rested on the edge of the control panel, a habit that made Chief Engineer Simmons grumble about respect for equipment. Remind me again why we drew the short straw for this milk run? Dr. Naomi Cross didn't look up from her astrometrics display, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Because unlike some people, we can actually stay awake for more than 4 hours at a stretch. The faint glow highlighted the sharp planes of her face and the tight braid of auburn hair that fell down her back. Marcus clutched his chest dramatically. Doc, that cuts deep. I'll have you know I once stayed awake for 36 hours straight during the Luna Academy Dash alert. The ship's AI, Cal, interrupted in its smooth, gender-neutral voice. Anomalous signal detected. Frequency, 42.7 gigahertz. Origin, uncharted space. All traces of humor vanished as Elias sat up straight. Put on screen. The main viewer flickered to life, displaying a string of jagged, angular symbols that pulsed rhythmically against the starfield. The characters looked like no language any of them had seen before, yet there was an undeniable pattern to them, a structure that suggested intelligence. Naomi's breath caught. That's not one of ours. No, Elias agreed, his voice tight. And it's not any of the known alien dialects either. He reached for the comm panel. Wait, Commander Reyes and Dash. Signal analysis complete, Cal announced. Pattern recognition suggests this is not a communication attempt. Probability of distress signal, 87.3%. Marcus whistled low. Well, that's just great. Our first proper alien contact, and they're screaming for help. He turned to Elias. Standard protocol says we report this back to Earth Command and maintain course. Naomi was already working her console. I'm getting energy readings from the signal's origin point. Massive power fluctuations, like nothing in our databases. Her fingers froze mid-motion. Elias, there's something else. The signal isn't just coming from deep space. It's moving. Fast. The bridge lights dimmed momentarily as the ship's systems rerouted power to the long-range scanners. The symbols on screen flickered, then resolved into a clearer pattern, a repeating sequence that grew more urgent with each iteration. Cal's voice took on an uncharacteristic edge. Warning, signal source has altered trajectory. New course projection intercepts Odyssey's current path in approximately 6 hours, 17 minutes. Elias felt the hairs on his neck stand up. Show me. The starfield on the viewer shifted, zooming out to display their flight path and a crimson marker hurtling toward them at impossible speed. The numbers scrolling beside it defied belief. Naomi's voice was barely above a whisper. That's not possible. No known propulsion system can achieve those velocities. Marcus had gone pale beneath his perpetual tan. So what you're saying is we're about to have company that breaks the laws of physics. Fantastic. The symbols on screen changed abruptly, resolving into a single, pulsing message that needed no translation. The shape of it was unmistakable, a warning, a threat, or perhaps both. Elias made his decision. Cal, go to Yellow Alert. Wake the entire crew, and prepare a data burst for Earth Command, maximum encryption. He turned to Naomi, seeing his dread reflected in her eyes. Whatever's coming our way, we need to be ready. As the alarm klaxons began their urgent wail, the last thing Elias noticed before springing into action was how the alien symbols on the screen had begun rearranging themselves again, this time into something that looked disturbingly like a countdown. Chapter 2. The Odyssey's crew scrambled to battle stations as the yellow alert lights painted the corridors in pulsing amber. Commander Sophia Rez burst onto the bridge, still fastening her uniform jacket, her dark curls escaping from what had probably been a neat bun before the alarm sounded. "What in God's name is that?" she demanded, staring at the alien symbols now flashing red on the main viewer. Marcus didn't look up from his navigation console. "Our new alien pen pals. They're not great at small talk." Elias kept his voice steady. "Cal, status report." The AI responded instantly. "All systems nominal. Shields at 85% and charging. Weapons systems coming online. Estimated intercept in 5 hours, 42 minutes. Naomi's fingers flew across her science station. "I'm picking up massive energy fluctuations from the contact. It's like nothing in our databases. Some kind of hybrid particle-antiparticle signature with exotic matter components." Sophia moved to the tactical station. "Can we outrun it?" Marcus snorted. "In this tub? Unless you've got a secret warp drive hidden somewhere." "Marcus," Elias warned. "Right, sorry. No, Captain, we can't outrun something moving at relativistic speeds in normal space." A new voice cut through the tension. "Then we stand and fight." Chief Engineer Simmons filled the doorway, his massive frame blocking the light from the corridor. Grease streaked his coveralls, and his meaty hands clenched around a diagnostic pad. "I've got the plasma cannons hot and the point defense systems primed." Naomi turned from her station, her face grim. "We don't even know if this is hostile contact." The symbols on screen changed again, resolving into a new pattern that pulsed ominously. Cal announced, "Signal pattern has shifted." Analyzing. "This appears to be a mathematical sequence. Base 12 calculations of our relative velocity and mass." Sophia's eyes narrowed. "They're calculating how to hit us." A sudden shudder ran through the ship as the artificial gravity fluctuated. Several consoles sparked before stabilizing. "What the hell was that?" Simmons growled. Naomi's display lit up with warnings. "Gravimetric disturbance. Something just warped space-time in our immediate vicinity." Elias gripped the arms of his chair. "Show me." The main viewer switched to an external camera view. At first, there was only Starfield. Then space itself seemed to ripple like water disturbed by a stone. The stars twisted and bent as something massive began emerging from what could only be described as a tear in reality. Marcus let out a low whistle. "Okay, that's new." The ship that materialized was like nothing human eyes had ever seen. A sleek obsidian wedge nearly 3 times the Odyssey's size, its surface shifting between solid and liquid states in hypnotic patterns. No visible engines, no weapon ports, just an impossible geometry that hurt to look at for too long. "Shields to maximum," Elias ordered. "All hands, brace for..." The alien vessel fired without warning. Not lasers or projectiles, but a beam of pure darkness that sliced through space toward them. It struck their starboard shield bubble, and for one terrifying second, the Odyssey's systems screamed in protest. "Direct hit," Sophia called out. "Shields down to 62% from that one shot." Naomi's voice held barely controlled panic. "That weapon, it's not firing energy. It's firing localized space-time distortions. It's literally tearing holes in reality." Marcus spun his chair around. "So what you're saying is we're completely screwed." Simmons was already moving toward the engineering lift. "I'll get the engines prepped for emergency jump. We'll need at least 8 minutes to spool up the FTL." Elias watched as the alien ship began reorienting itself for another attack. "We don't have 8 minutes. Ideas, people." Naomi suddenly straightened. Wait, the signal. Cal, play back the original transmission at half speed. As the strange symbols reappeared, Naomi's eyes widened. It's not just a warning or a distress call. There's another layer to it, a frequency modulation in the carrier wave. Her fingers danced across the console. I think it's trying to teach us something. The alien ship fired again. This time the dark beam grazed their port side, shearing off one of their sensor arrays in a shower of sparks. Shields at 41%. Sophia reported. Elias made a decision. Naomi, you've got 2 minutes to figure out that signal. Marcus, evasive pattern Delta 9. Sophia, target their weapon emplacement with everything we've got. As the Odyssey banked hard to starboard, plasma cannons blazing, Naomi worked furiously to decode the mysterious message, unaware that the secret it held would change humanity's place in the cosmos forever. Chapter 3. The Odyssey shuddered violently as another dark energy beam grazed their shields. Warning klaxons wailed through the ship, their shrill cries punctuated by the thundering of plasma cannons returning fire. Captain Elias Vance gripped his command chair as the artificial gravity fluctuated, his stomach lurching with each evasive maneuver. Shields down to 38%. Commander Reyes called out, her fingers flying across the tactical console. That last hit took out our portside sensor array. Marcus wrestled with the navigation controls, his usually playful voice strained with effort. I'm dancing as fast as I can here, but this thing moves like nothing I've ever seen. Naomi barely registered the chaos around her, her entire focus locked on the alien transmission. Sweat beaded on her forehead as lines of code scrolled across her display. There's definitely an information layer beneath the surface signal. It's almost like the ship lurched violently as another impact rocked them. A console exploded nearby, sending a shower of sparks across the bridge. Simmons' voice crackled over the comms from engineering. That one rattled my teeth. We can't take many more hits like that. Elias wiped blood from a cut above his eye. Naomi, whatever you're seeing, now will be the time. Her eyes suddenly widened. It's a frequency key. Cal, reconfigure our comm array to emit at 42.7 gigahertz modulated with this waveform pattern. She sent the data to the main computer. Marcus threw a glance over his shoulder. You want to talk to it? Now, not talk, Naomi corrected, her fingers flying across the interface. I think it's been trying to teach us how to defend against their weapons this whole time. The alien ship fired again, the dark energy beam streaking toward them. Just before impact, Cal announced, modulation active. Emitting counter-frequency now. The beam struck, but instead of tearing through their shields, it splashed harmlessly against an unexpected golden shimmer that flared around the Odyssey. Reyes gasped. What the hell was that? Naomi's face broke into a triumphant grin. A harmonic resonance shield. The signal contained the frequency needed to neutralize their weapons. Elias didn't waste a second. Marcus, bring us about. Sophia, target their engines with everything we've got. Naomi, keep that modulation going. The Odyssey pivoted sharply, her plasma cannons roaring to life. Blue-white bolts streaked across the void, impacting the alien vessel's smooth surface. For the first time, the mysterious ship showed damage, its liquid metal hull rippling violently where the plasma struck. We heard it, Marcus crowed. Look at that ugly bastard flinch. But their celebration was short-lived. Cal's warning came just as the alien ship began to change shape. Energy spike detected. New weapon signature identified. The obsidian surface of the enemy vessel bulged outward, forming 3 massive protrusions that glowed with eerie violet light. Reyes' voice turned urgent. Incoming. Multiple contacts, some kind of energy projectiles. The glowing orbs launched toward them, moving with terrifying speed. Naomi frantically adjusted her console. The modulation isn't working on these. They're different. Elias gripped his armrests. Brace for impact. The first projectile struck like a hammer of pure force, sending the Odyssey spinning wildly. The second hit their aft shields, overloading 2 emitter arrays. The third, direct hit to engineering. Simmons' voice shouted over the comms amid a cacophony of alarms. We've got a hull breach on Deck 7. Emergency containment fields activated. The bridge lights flickered as power fluctuated. Damage reports flooded Elias' display. They were losing systems fast. Through the viewport, the alien ship loomed larger as it closed in for the kill. Naomi suddenly gasped. Wait, the pattern. Cal, magnify Sector 12 on the alien vessel. The image zoomed in, revealing what looked like a series of irregular markings on the ship's surface. Those aren't natural, Naomi breathed. They're scars, battle damage. This ship has fought before and lost. Elias' mind raced. Which means whatever hurt it, we can too. Cal, full scan, look for any weak points matching that damage pattern. Marcus groaned. Great plan, except we're about to be space dust in approximately 45 seconds. Reyes suddenly straightened. Captain, the forward torpedo bay is still operational. If we could hit one of those damaged areas with a concentrated blast. Elias made the call. Do it. Marcus, get us in close. Sophia, lock torpedoes on those markings. Naomi, keep working on that signal. There's got to be more to it. As the Odyssey surged forward on a collision course with the alien behemoth, every crew member braced for what might be their final act of defiance. The torpedo bay doors slid open, revealing the deadly payload that might just even the odds, or doom them all. Chapter 4. The Odyssey's engine screamed in protest as Marcus threw the ship into a desperate dive, skimming dangerously close to the alien vessel's dark hull. The massive obsidian surface filled their viewports, its shifting patterns making depth perception impossible. Closer, Reyes urged, her hand steady on the weapon's console despite the ship's violent shaking. I need a clean shot at those markings. Marcus gritted his teeth. You want me to park in their docking bay? Because this is about as close as we get without. A sudden impact cut him off as one of the alien ship's energy projectiles clipped their stern. The deck plates buckled beneath them, throwing the crew against their restraints. Shields at 19%. Cal reported. Hull integrity compromised on decks 4 through 6. Elias tasted blood in his mouth from biting his tongue. Naomi, anything from that signal? She shook her head, her fingers flying across the console. There's more data embedded in the transmission. Some kind of technical schematics, but I can't decrypt it fast enough. The alien ship loomed larger, its violet energy projectiles charging for another volley. Simmons' voice crackled over the comm, strained with effort. Engineering's a mess down here, but I've got one trick left, diverting all non-essential power to forward shields. Elias made the call. Do it. Marcus, steady as she goes. Sophia, fire when ready. The Odyssey stabilized just long enough for Reyes to lock onto the scarred section of the alien hull. Torpedoes locked. Firing. Twin streaks of plasma-propelled death rocketed from their forward tubes, screaming across the void. The first struck dead center on the damaged plating. The second impacted a millisecond later, precisely where Reyes had calculated the weak point would be. For a breathless moment, nothing happened. Then, the alien ship's surface rippled violently, like a pond struck by a stone. The obsidian plating buckled inward at the impact site, revealing a glimpse of glowing blue machinery beneath. Marcus hooped. Hell yes, that got their attention. But their victory was short-lived. The damaged section began repairing itself, liquid metal flowing to seal the breach. Naomi suddenly gasped. Wait, the signal changed again. Cal, boost transmission power and replay the last sequence at quarter speed. The alien symbols on screen shifted, resolving into a new pattern, one that made Naomi's blood run cold. It's not just schematics, she whispered. It's a warning. About us. Before she could explain, the alien ship's surface erupted in hundreds of glowing violet nodes, each one charging another energy projectile. Reyes' voice turned grim. They're not playing around anymore. That's a full broadside. Marcus swallowed hard. So we're dead. Elias' mind raced. Not yet. Naomi, Can you use that signal data to predict their firing solution? She nodded frantically. Maybe if I can isolate the targeting algorithm from the first volley launched. Evasive maneuvers, Elias shouted. The Odyssey twisted violently as Marcus threw them into a desperate spin. Energy projectiles streaked past, so close their shields flared from near misses. One grazed their port nacelle, sending a shudder through the ship. Direct hit to propulsion, Simmons reported. We're down to maneuvering thrusters only. The alien ship advanced, its weapons charging again. Naomi suddenly straightened. Got it. Their targeting system uses a recursive algorithm. Cal, feed this pattern into our evasion controls. The ship's AI responded instantly. Pattern recognized, projecting optimal evasion path. The Odyssey lurched into motion just as the next volley fired, dancing between the deadly projectiles with impossible grace. Marcus laughed wildly. I could kiss you, Doc. Elias didn't share his relief. This buys us time, but we still can't outrun them. Ideas? Naomi's eyes locked onto her display. There's one more layer to the signal, coordinates, deep space, and a message. The screen resolved into a single, terrifying word. Run. Chapter 5. The word hung in the air like a death sentence. Run. Marcus was the first to break the silence. Well, that's reassuring. Our mysterious alien friends want us to flee from themselves? Naomi's fingers trembled as she worked the console. No, not from them. From something else. She pulled up the coordinates embedded in the signal. A point in deep space nearly 3 light years away. They're warning us about whatever's coming. The alien ship's weapons powered down abruptly, its violet glow dimming. Instead of attacking, it began to retreat, its obsidian surface rippling as it prepared to jump. Reyes frowned. They're leaving? After all that? Elias felt the pieces click together. They weren't trying to destroy us. They were testing us. His voice turned grim. And now they're running from whatever scared them enough to send that warning. A proximity alarm blared. Cal's voice cut through the tension. New contact, bearing 274 Mark 18. Distance, 500 kilometers and closing fast. The view screen zoomed in on the approaching object. A sleek, silver craft barely a quarter the size of the Odyssey. Its smooth surface unbroken by engines or weapons. It moved with unnatural precision, as if sliding through space rather than flying. Naomi's breath caught. That's human design. Early 22nd century Earth Defense Force configuration. Marcus squinted at the screen. But that model was retired decades ago. And nothing that old could possibly. The silver ship fired. A beam of pure white light lanced out, striking the retreating alien vessel. Where it hit, the obsidian hull dissolved, the liquid metal boiling away into nothingness. Simmons' voice roared over the comm. What the hell was that? Elias' hands clenched. That's not one of ours. Not anymore. The silver ship turned toward the Odyssey, its smooth surface shifting to reveal multiple weapon ports. Naomi's console lit up with warnings. They're locking on. Shields won't last against whatever that weapon is. Marcus threw the Odyssey into a desperate spin as the first white beam grazed their shields. The impact sent sparks flying across the bridge. Shields at 12%. Cal reported. Hull breaches on decks 3 and 5. Reyes targeted the silver ship with their remaining weapons, firing plasma cannons. The blue bolts struck dead center and dissipated harmlessly against the silver hull. Marcus cursed. Okay, new plan. Anyone got a new plan? Naomi suddenly gasped. The coordinates. The alien ship was pointing us somewhere. Maybe there's safety there. Elias made the decision instantly. Cal, plot a course to those coordinates. Maximum warp. The AI responded. FTL drive damaged. Spool time, 8 minutes. Another white beam struck them, this one shearing off a piece of their starboard hull. We don't have 8 minutes. Marcus yelled. Simmons' voice crackled through, strained but determined. I can give you 3 if I bypass the safeties, but it'll fry half the systems doing it. Elias didn't hesitate. Do it. The Odyssey shuddered as power surged through damaged conduits. Alarms blared as system after system flashed red on the damage control board. The silver ship fired again. This time, the white beam struck their aft section. The impact sent the crew sprawling. "Direct hit to engineering," Cal announced. "Warp core instability detected." Naomi pulled herself up, blood trickling from her forehead. "Elias, we're not going to make it." Then, impossibly, the retreating alien ship reappeared, slamming into the silver craft with the full force of its massive bulk. The collision sent both vessels spinning wildly. Reyes' eyes widened. "They're helping us." The alien ship's surface pulsed with a final, brilliant violet glow before exploding in shockwave that sent the Odyssey hurtling away. Marcus fought the controls. FTL spool complete. Jumping now. As the stars stretched into streaks around them, Elias caught one last glimpse of the silver ship, already recovering, already turning to pursue. Then space folded around them, and the Odyssey vanished, racing toward whatever salvation or doom awaited at the coordinates their mysterious enemy had died to give them. Chapter 6. The Odyssey tumbled out of warp space in a shower of sparks and system failures. Emergency lighting bathed the bridge in an eerie red glow as the ship's groaning superstructure settled into an uneasy stillness. Elias gripped his command chair, his knuckles white, as the main viewer flickered to life. Well, Marcus croaked, wiping blood from his split lip. That was the worst FTL jump in recorded history. Remind me to file a complaint with the travel agency. Naomi ignored him, her fingers flying across her damaged console. We made it. Coordinates matched the alien signal exactly. The view screen resolved to show a massive, irregular structure floating in the void. An asteroid, roughly the size of Earth's moon, its surface pockmarked with strange geometric patterns that glowed faintly blue. Reyes let out a low whistle. That's no natural formation. Those are buildings. Or what's left of them. Simmons' voice crackled over the comm, strained with pain. Engineering's a mess down here. Warp core's offline, primary power at 30%. That silver bastard better not have followed us. As if summoned, proximity alarms blared. Cal's voice was urgent. Unidentified vessel emerging from warp. Same signature as the hostile contact. Elias' stomach dropped. How much time do we have? Approximately 4 minutes until weapons range, Cal replied. Marcus groaned. You'd think saving the galaxy would come with better vacation time. Naomi was already analyzing the asteroid surface. There's an opening, looks like some kind of hangar bay near the equatorial ridge. If we can reach it, Elias made the decision instantly. Marcus, get us there. Sophia, prep whatever weapons we have left. Naomi, keep scanning that structure. If the aliens sent us here, there must be something that can help. The Odyssey limped toward the asteroid, her thrusters firing unevenly. Behind them, the silver ship completed its warp transition and immediately altered course to pursue. 2 minutes to intercept, Cal warned. The asteroid loomed larger, its strange glowing patterns resolving into what looked like massive, ancient circuitry embedded in the rock. The hangar bay Naomi had spotted yawned open, a dark maw large enough to swallow the Odyssey whole. Reyes frowned at her tactical display. No energy readings from the structure. If there's help here, it's been dead a long time. Marcus guided the ship through the hangar entrance. Dead or not, it's better than being out there with Mr. Shiny and murderous. The interior was vast and dark, the only illumination coming from their ship's exterior lights reflecting off strange, angular machinery that lined the walls. As they moved deeper, massive doors slid shut behind them with a finality that made everyone tense. Atmospheric pressure increasing, Naomi reported. Breathable air mix. Gravity stabilizing at 0.8 Earth standard. The Odyssey settled onto what appeared to be a landing platform with a bone-jarring thud. Outside the viewports, pale blue lights flickered to life in sequence, revealing a cavernous chamber filled with what looked like dozens of ships, all of the same obsidian design as their mysterious attackers-turned-saviors. Marcus let out a low whistle. Well, that's not ominous at all. Before anyone could respond, a new voice echoed through the chamber. Mechanical, yet strangely melodic. Identification required. The words came from everywhere and nowhere at once. Naomi's eyes widened. It's speaking English. Or, we're hearing it as English. Elias stood slowly. Cal, open a channel. When the AI complied, he spoke clearly. We are the Earth Vessel Odyssey. We came following a warning. Silence. Then, query, you possess the key? The crew exchanged confused glances. Naomi suddenly straightened. The signal, the modulation pattern, it must be some kind of access code. She quickly input the sequence into the comm system. The chamber lights brightened instantly. The mechanical voice returned, warmer now. Authentication confirmed. Welcome, inheritors. A holographic display materialized before them. A star map unlike any they'd seen, with unfamiliar constellations and strange annotations. At its center pulsed a single red marker. Reyes leaned forward. What is this? Historical record. And warning, the voice replied. The Devourers came for us. Now they come for you. The map zoomed in on the red marker, a star system with 9 planets. Earth's solar system. Elias felt the blood drain from his face. How long do we have? Before the voice could answer, the entire structure shuddered violently. Alarms blared throughout the chamber as Cal announced. The silver ship is attempting to breach the outer doors. The hologram flickered urgently. The Devourer has found this sanctuary. You must take what we have preserved and flee. Naomi's console beeped. I'm getting data transfer, massive files coming through. Schematics, technology, and coordinates. Somewhere in the Andromeda Galaxy. Another impact shook the chamber. Dust rained from the ceiling as the voice grew more urgent. There is no time. You must. The transmission cut off as a deafening explosion rocked the Odyssey. The chamber's far wall buckled inward as the silver ship's white beam began carving through. Marcus was already firing up the engines. We're leaving. Now. Elias gripped Naomi's shoulder. Did you get it all? She nodded, her face pale. Enough to know we're in way over our heads. As the Odyssey lifted off, the ancient structure's voice returned one last time, barely audible over the chaos. Run, inheritors. And remember, the Devourers cannot be stopped, only outlasted. The hangar doors exploded inward as the silver ship forced its way through. Marcus didn't wait for clearance. He punched the throttle, sending the Odyssey screaming toward a small service tunnel that glowed with emergency lights. As they hurtled into the dark passage, pursued by an enemy they barely understood, Elias realized the terrible truth. Humanity had just inherited someone else's war, and the first battle was already lost. Chapter 7. The Odyssey's damaged engine screamed as Marcus threaded the ship through the asteroid's crumbling service tunnels. Behind them, the Silver Devourer ship carved through solid rock like butter, its white energy beam dissolving everything in its path. Where does this tunnel even lead? Reyes shouted over the shuddering deck plates. Naomi checked the incoming data. Some kind of secondary launch facility. There. The tunnel opened abruptly into a massive cylindrical chamber, its walls lined with dozens of dormant obsidian ships identical to the one that had sacrificed itself for them. Marcus yanked the controls hard to avoid colliding with the nearest vessel. Great. A parking lot full of broken alien cars. A deafening explosion rocked the chamber as the Devourer ship burst through the tunnel entrance behind them. Cal's voice cut through the chaos. Hull integrity critical. FTL drive non-functional. Probability of survival 3.2%. Elias mind raced. Naomi, that data you downloaded. Is there anything about this place? Any weapons? Defenses? She scanned frantically. There's some kind of activation sequence. A final protocol. Her breath caught. It's a self-destruct. Simmons' voice crackled over the comm. That's our kind of language. How do we trigger it? Before Naomi could answer, a Devourer ship fired. The white beam sliced across the Odyssey's stern, shearing off their port engine nacelle in a shower of sparks. Shields gone. Engines 2 and 3 offline. Reyes reported. Marcus wrestled with the controls as the ship went into a spin. "We're sitting ducks." Naomi's fingers flew across her console. "Got it. Cal, transmit this frequency through our comm array. Maximum power." The AI responded instantly. "Transmitting. Warning. This will overload our remaining systems." The chamber lights flickered, then brightened to an intense blue. One by one, the dormant alien ships powered up, their obsidian surfaces shimmering to life. Reyes' eyes widened. "You woke them up?" Naomi shook her head. "Not exactly." The alien ships launched simultaneously, not toward the Devourer, but toward the chamber walls, impacting in precise patterns. Where they struck, the ancient circuitry embedded in the rock flared white-hot. The mechanical voice from before boomed through the chamber. Final protocol engaged. Purification initiated. The Devourer ship seemed to hesitate, then began a frantic retreat back up the tunnel. Marcus grinned savagely. "That's right, you shiny bastard. Run." But the triumph was short-lived. The asteroid's core began glowing, cracks spreading across its surface as unimaginable energies built within. Cal's voice was calm. "Core detonation in 30 seconds. This facility was designed to eliminate all traces of technology, including us." Elias made the decision instantly. "Marcus, that tunnel the Devourer came through. Can we make it?" Marcus eyed the collapsing passage. "It'll be tight. Then go." The Odyssey surged forward, weaving through disintegrating rock as the chamber behind them erupted in blinding light. The shockwave caught them just as they cleared the asteroid, sending the ship tumbling end over end through space. When the view screen finally stabilized, all that remained of the ancient facility was an expanding cloud of superheated plasma. Reyes let out a shaky breath. Did we just outrun an alien apocalypse?" Naomi studied her console. The Devourer ship made it out too, but it's heavily damaged, warp signature unstable. Marcus slumped in his chair. "So what now? We're floating in deep space with half a ship and enough alien tech data to get us executed for treason." Elias looked at the star map, now permanently burned into their systems. The coordinates in Andromeda, the warnings about Earth, the fragments of an ancient war they just inherited. "We go home," he said quietly, "and we prepare." As the crippled Odyssey turned toward distant Earth, one truth burned brighter than the destroyed asteroid behind them. Humanity had just graduated from being the hunters to being the hunted, and the stars would never be safe again. And that was the end of the story. Comment below if you want the next chapter, and hit that like button. Please subscribe, turn on the bell, and as always, keep the last light burning.